Welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Belle and this is the Belle Perspective. And today we are going to be reviewing Ready to Love Season 7, Episode 6, Do You Like Me? Okay? If you're new here, I love to talk about TV, books, movies, all sorts of things here on this channel. And we are a growing channel, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me down below and get in the comments and let me know what you think about the episode and my commentary. Let's get into the episode. Okay? This episode was it was all right. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at it. It gave a little bit, you know. Originally Corvea was voted off, right? I'm sorry. No, Demario was voted off in the last episode. And so typically the way the show works is that each week the power shifts. This week, both Tony and Lyndon made note to say that Tommy didn't delegate power back to them. So it's kind of like up in the air what's about to happen. I didn't even notice it until Tony said it at their little huddle. So Tommy tells the men that they need to focus on their promising connections and making sure that they ask the hard questions, because truth and honesty is the admission price for love, right? A little bit of a corny saying, but it is true. Tommy is telling them that he's going to organize a dinner after all of the dates, after all the connections and things like that, because he wants to get eyes on how the connections are really going. He really wants to see what's happening, aka we need to kick up some dust. So we're going to put all y'all in a room and see what happens. So Blake coordinates. So I'm really liking the group dates. I think it's really cute seeing them do the group dates. I'm also enjoying seeing them doing the individual dates as well. So Blake coordinates an outdoor event, an outdoor date. They're at an obstacle course. He invites Lyndon, Cynthia, Mark Anthony, and Sue-Ann, of course. Oh, and Mercedes was there too. And it was an obstacle course. And it looked so fun. Like, it looked really fun. I'm like, where the heck was that at? Anyway, Anthony and Mercedes have some time to sit and they're actually playing, y'all forgive me, it's kind of early when I'm recording this, so my brain is I'm not really a morning person. I process things more so in the afternoon, evening. Mark Anthony, but Anthony and Mercedes are playing this like checkers. Is it checkers? Oh no, Connect Four. But like the large life-size Connect Four. Why is my brain not? Come on, girl. The life-size Connect Four games that they typically put at playgrounds. And personally, I think that Anthony is opening up and talking to the women that he's interested in and connecting with, but he's kind of acting a little funny with the women that he's not really interested in. I don't know. We'll see. Mercedes shares with Anthony that she has concerns about him having a ready-made family. He has a daughter and all these different things. She has no children. She's not really ready to raise kids just yet. He's already crossed that. He's already been established. She's got some hesitation. But I feel Mercedes. I'm a woman with no children. I want to date a man with no children. I'm not trying to take on additional responsibilities. It's just a lot. I wouldn't want to take that on. So vice versa. A person who has children is looking for someone who also wants to have kids because they have that responsibility that they're already familiar with. That makes sense. So Lyndon and Sue-Ann, they're sitting down talking. Again, here we go with another woman saying that Lyndon does not utilize that phone number. I personally don't think that Lyndon really likes any of these women. I think he's on the show just to have a good time. And there really isn't anything there. Their conversation is absolutely dry, awkward. Let's move on. So Lyndon and Mercedes. Now, when going into this little one-on-one, all of this is happening while they're at this obstacle course. Everybody's kind of like splitting off, talking to each other. So Lyndon pulls Mercedes aside. And I like Mercedes. She's a cool girl. So Cynthia and Mercedes and Marcia are the three girls that I would like. They cool. So Lyndon and Mercedes sit down and talk. And Lyndon is like, before going into having this conversation with Mercedes, he's like, I like Mercedes. She's really cool. But we haven't had an opportunity to connect and things like that. So he sits her down. They're sitting at this park bench. And he's saying, hey, he comes out like, hit it with the headline. Do you like me? Do you like me? I was like, and Mercedes was like, do I like you? Like, in what sense? Like, and you mean like, Mercedes, girl, stop it. Girl, hard for her to just completely be outright, but she actually did, and I respected her for it. She said, no, I just get more so friend vibe from you. There's nothing else there. You know, Sorry. Blake and Suanne. Honestly, at this point, if they are together, if they like each other and they want to be together, that's great. Wonderful, great for them. I think that they're actually perfect for each other. And after listening to some of the commentary that some of the other people had about Suanne and Blake, I think maybe they are a better match for each other. Maybe they, I see why they have what they've got going on. Man just sits in Blake's lap and gives him a kiss. It's still very awkward to me as I'm watching this, and I don't know if it's because I don't like Blake at all, but I was cringing. And again, I think maybe it's because I don't necessarily like Blake. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. So Jeffrey and BOLU have a date. Jeffrey has this voice that she has that, what is it? Vocal fry is what you call it. And I like, so, and and like, and I just think, and then her voice is monotone, so she doesn't yell or shout or girl what, she does none of that. It's like, girl what, oh my god, I cannot believe that this is happening. Yeah, and her eyes barely open. I like Jeffrey because she'll still get you together though, in that same monotone way, but very, very monotone. But she will get you together, so I appreciate it. So they're sitting and talking. There is one thing that I had about Jeffrey. She was basically, they were looking at ducks. The ducks. It was a mama duck and the baby ducks, and she was like, "Oh my god, in nature they have to be single moms too. Where's the dad?" And I'm like, Jeffrey, like I understand that you want a father for your children, but it's starting to sound a little. Did y'all get desperation from it? I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just the way that I look at things. I just think it's really cringy when a woman says, "I want a father for my children." It's just kind of like, if that makes sense. Like, you absolutely can handle this on your own. You absolutely can do this on your own. Do you need a man? No. Do you want one? Yes. And I just think that the conversation came off like she needed one, which puts you in not a really great position when you're dealing with men if you make them feel like you need them. I don't know. It's just weird. It was weird. It was weird. Weird. She's very old school. And Blue seemed like he was giving her a little bit, but it was awkward. It was still awkward in that moment. Like, was he really giving her enough? Like, was he really interested? Is he really trying? I don't know with Blue. He's hard to read. He's also another one that just is real laid back, and you can't really tell how he feels about things, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Anyway, okay, so Morgan and I want to call him London so bad. His name is Lyndon. Morgan and Lyndon. Morgan's dress is so cute. I actually saw it on Amazon. I was gonna get it. It was really cute. Really cute dress. Oh my gosh, I'm finally having a date with Lyndon to have an opportunity to sit down with him. How do you like Lyndon so much and you put in Lyndon's name in your mouth so much with Tony when you've never had a date with him? Morgan, girl, what is really going on, girl? She's absolutely gorgeous, but girl, what is really happening today, girl? Morgan talked a little bit about her relationships and previous relationship, and that her longest relationship, he was a good person but not a good partner, and she didn't feel like he was trustworthy. So it sounded like there was a breach of trust there, and so she stayed for the companionship, but not necessarily for the relationship, if that makes any sense. Which is a complete and total waste of time, but I know people who do that all the time. So I feel like she just was there, but not really giving her heart, which is, that defeats the purpose of actually being in a real relationship. Marcia and Tony. So Tony invites Marcia out. But Marcia got body, yada, yada. Marcia body is perfection, okay? Marcia talks a little bit about Tony and how the spark is there, how the vibe is there, how the chemistry is there, but she doesn't feel safe enough to trust this connection, which I understand exactly what she's saying. Tony does not give a genuine man. He doesn't give genuine guy. He gives smooth, always calm, always collected, always got it in a bag, and that's not a good trait to have in a man. So I really wish that Marcia had explained that, because Tony asked her, like, okay, what would make you feel safe? What do you need for safety? And she did not mention it. Now maybe she did in the date and it was just edited out, but I just personally do not feel like she really spoke to the fact that Tony, I do not feel safe because you seem like you're a ladies man, you're a womanizer. That's the vibe I'm getting from you. Like, I really wanted Marcia to actually be open and vulnerable in that moment, and I know that Tony was expecting more conversation, expecting more from her as well, but she didn't give it. Johnny and Mark Anthony have no connection, nothing going on. A lot of the things that Johnny was talking about align with Tony. Tony said that he's ready to be a husband. He's ready to find his wife. He wants to go through this process and get married. The last thing on his list is have a wife, get the fence, the dog, all of that. Okay. Mark Anthony and Jeffrey. Jeffrey is also in this state as well. She's doing her usual. She actually opens up and talks about how she decided that she wanted to be with a man that didn't have any children. This conversation was a little bit choppy because it went from one thing to another and they didn't align, if that makes sense. So she was saying that overthinking got her in the situation, but overthinking also caused her to want to be with a man who doesn't have children, which then led her to giving birth to children without the man. And I'm like, well, I don't understand how those things align. So I'm not sure if they chopped and screwed some of those part of that conversation, because it just didn't make sense. Like, I just didn't understand the sequence with her sentence. So I thought it was interesting that she's a woman who has children, who wants to date a man with no children. Y'all tell me what y'all think about that down in the comments, because I personally think that you should only be asking for what you have. Don't come to me. I honestly, personally, I remember this one guy, and I'm gonna trail off real quick so I can hurry, because yeah, I'm gonna trail off real quick and then we'll get back to it. I remember I was talking to this one guy, and he and I were just like kicking it and everything, like, no, just like really kicking it, like just cool, nothing happening, but just really getting to know each other. And he was telling me about how he was cooking something one day. Now, we and I had been talking for like 2 or 3 weeks, right? 2 or 3 weeks, he had been chatting it up. He was making some food, and I was like, oh, send me a picture of what you're making. I want to see. He sent me a picture, and it's like this big old bowl of like kale. And I'm like, this is a lot of food for somebody that's just making for themselves. And he was like, oh no, I'm making it for my son and daughter. Making it for your son and daughter? I was like, you didn't say, why didn't you tell me you had kids? And he was like, I usually don't tell people that. First of all, that's a privilege that a man can actually say, not tell people that he has kids. So I was like, oh no, you're already, that's already strike one. That you don't automatically just tell me that you have kids. That's crazy. And then I was like, oh, I don't date men with kids. Like, I was honest. Like, I don't want to date a man with kids. For what? Like, I'm not about to bring all, that's a lot of stuff coming into my life that I don't need. I get up when I want to. I go where I want to. I don't got to pay nothing. No child support. If anybody's hungry, I'm feeding myself, right? I don't have to take care of nothing or nobody over here. I don't. Not to say, for anybody who is a parent, that's wonderful. Great, 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 great. That's not my life. That's not what I've decided to do. I don't want to do that. Not anytime soon. And I I'm sure ain't trying to do that for somebody I don't even like. These kids, I don't know. I'm not trying to do that. Nothing wrong with having kids. Nothing wrong with accepting children as your own. You absolutely can do that. But for me, para mí, no thank you. But he got so upset with me. He was pissed. He was like, how could you do that? Oh my God, what is wrong with you? Kids are wonderful. I'm like, well, if kids were so wonderful, why didn't you tell me about them when we first started talking? Why did you wait until... Anyway, so I thought it was interesting. I'm going off on a tangent. I thought it was interesting that Jeffrey is a woman who has kids but doesn't want to date a woman or a man with kids. Like, what? That's craziness to me. If you're a person with children, you need to be dating people with children, because why not? Please get down in the comments. If I'm wrong, tell me, because I don't, or give me another perspective, because I don't, I'm confused. I'm confusion, baby. I don't know. I'm like, oh my gosh. Hopefully I didn't put my foot in my mouth. Anyway, Jonique is talking about, the kind of man she wants, and she goes off on a tangent, and it sounded like nobody else was able to get anything in to the conversation because she was taking over. Jonique, honestly, sweetheart, I'm from Florida girl to Florida girl, sis, you need therapy. I'm gonna say this every time. I can tell she needs therapy. She needs to go to a place where she can talk and verbalize and say all the things she wants and get those things out there without any interruptions, and it be completely about her. Because she needs therapy. Okay, she needs to the dinner, the messy dinner. Yeah. Yikes. Okay, so Marcia had on a really cute ass dress. Marcia, girl, the dress, girl, give it to me right now. I want it. I'll take it right now. Loved it. Love that dress. Okay, absolutely wear the shit out that dress. Do you hear what I'm saying? Okay. So Morgan and London are sitting down in the London. Morgan and London were sitting in the corner talking, chatting it up, not talking about anything, because every time Morgan and Lyndon get together, they have no real conversation. Nothing is deep. Nothing deep is happening. Now, if it is, camera's not catching it, and I'm not seeing it, but it literally is just sexual chemistry there. It's not anything else. Whatever. Tony is peeping in the corner, being a creepy creepster. I'm just kidding, Tony. He was just peeping in the corner like, oh, do Lyndon think that he gonna have a leg up on me? Whatever. Basically, how men do. Beating on his chest and whatever and whatnot. Okay. So Anthony and Sue-Ann are sitting down talking, and Anthony basically is telling her, hey, I just want to tell you I appreciate you. And they're having this awkward, cringy exchange. And Sue-Ann basically tells him, listen, the way that you are in the process, and when they say in the process, they mean on the show, on the cameras, the way that you are in the process on the cameras is different than how you are when you're not on the camera, which I understand to a fault. But I also think that he is genuine on camera with the women that he likes. I don't know if he necessarily likes Sue-Ann. We'll see it, because we'll hear the same complaint from Marcia. So I'm wondering, Marcia, does Anthony really like you like that? Because on the camera of Anthony and Cynthia, I didn't see any problem, but I don't know. So Tommy comes in and tells the group that Andre's coming back. He pretends it's like, hey, does anybody have a problem with Andre coming back? I'm gonna call him on the phone, call him at the house, blah, blah, blah. He pretends to call the man on the phone and basically says, hey, come on in. And Andre comes inside. This hair, y'all. It's this hair, y'all. This hair, the bun, and the bayang. Please get down in the comments and tell me. Somebody was saying that they thought he was a nice, attractive looking man. They thought he seemed nice. Please give me more. Help me understand. Because I up and Tommy basically introduces the agenda. Everybody's going to have an opportunity to talk about their connections. One man, one woman is going home. So that's what the power shift is. We find out that both a man and a woman is going home. Okay. So he opens the floor. Anybody can say what they feel about each connections, being honest, no holding back. I said, y'all are so messy. So Andre opens up. He pipes up and says, I'm like, now, Andre, you ain't even been here long enough. But he goes to basically, Mercedes, I have a problem with you. I left the show. I had the 19. You didn't check on me. You didn't ride for me. And I'm like, well, what did you want from her? What was she supposed to do? Hang on and wait for you? Like, what if you don't go sit down somewhere? What did you want? Like, prayers up and we moving on, okay? So Anthony is brought up. Who brings up Anthony? Marcia. So Tommy asks Marcia, what are you thinking? Marcia brings up Anthony. Anthony is one way on camera. He's one way off camera. Again, they call it the process, but we know what it really means. And that's the exact same thing that Sue-Ann was saying. Jonique says that Mark Anthony there's no spark with them. And so Cynthia also says, I don't know if Mark Anthony's really here for love. He's young. Is he really ready? Sue-Ann pipes up and actually says the very same thing. Tony then brings up to Sue-Ann, hey, I think that you're aloof. I'm not sure why you're here on this process. And then in his confessional, he says she comes off as if she's better than everyone. Right? And Andre says the same thing, which is also said by Jonique in her confessional. Jonique says, Blake, he always gives me weird vibes. It is not pleasant to talk to him. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's not even pleasant to talk to. Like, we couldn't even be friends. Like, he is so awkward and weird and aloof and arrogant that you couldn't even have just a regular conversation with him. That's my problem with Blake, right? So I see why him and Sue-Ann. After Tony says Sue-Ann thinks she better than everybody, and then Jonique says she thinks that Blake thinks he's better than everybody, I'm like, okay, it makes sense as to why these two people are together, or they like each other. Tommy asked Blake, did he understand the assignment? What's going on? Blake was like, I absolutely understood the assignment, right? So Jeffrey says, is it Morgan? Morgan says, Blake is not a pleasant person to speak to. I'm not even, and I also remember what Jeffrey said. And so I'm not I don't want to pursue him because of what Jeffree said. Tommy says, well, what exactly did Jeffree say? I'm like, here we go. This is what the mess. Blake was like, it's absolutely not true. You know, Jeffree says he said that he didn't want to lie to the women. Jeffree was his biggest connection, blah, blah, blah. We already know the story. Tommy asked Blake, is he telling the truth? Blake was like, absolutely not. He's absolutely not telling the truth. So they're going back and forth. Blake was like, bless your heart, baby. Bless your heart. Bless your heart. Blake is controlling. Blake is a long shot from authenticity. Like, all these things, right? So Lyndon is like, in the confessional, saying, I had no idea that all this drama was going on. I had no idea. But I like Blake. I love Blake. But Jeffree seems genuine. And I'm going to go with Jeffree on this one. I don't see no lies. I don't see no lies. I'm gonna just be honest. Blake continues again denying it all. Continuing to deny it all. And now here we get into more, what is that girl's name? Sue-Ann and Jeffree going back and forth. Can you just keep my name out your mouth as well? Can you keep my name out your mouth as well? Also with Jeffree bringing up Sue. I'm like, why did you bring that girl name up? She was like, Sue has a tendency to insert herself into my business and my path with the men. And it's just, she has her path, I have mine. And I'm just like, yes, this is true. But don't bring her up because she's waiting for you to say that you're bringing her. She's waiting for you to try to diminish what you have to say. And here she goes in the confessional. Jeffree is living in a delusional land. I'm like, Jeffree? Oh, it's Jeffree? Is she all by herself? Okay. So anyway, we stopped the episode there. They're going back and forth. We see some of the trailers. Morgan basically tells Blake to his face that I think that you're a cancer, not a benign cancer, but a malignant. I was damn. Damn. Well, damn. You know. So anyway, we will see what the next steps are. Who's gonna get voted off? I'm hoping it's Blake. It sounds like it may be Blake. I pray to God because I'm sick and tired of looking at him. It's ridiculous. And I hope Sue-Ann go home too. Both of them can go. If y'all really like each other, y'all are perfect for each other, please go right off into the sunset. We love it for y'all. Okay? Anywho, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think down in the comments about having children and then dating people. That's putting out the expectation to not date people with children. Let me know what you think about Sue-Ann and Blake. What do you think about Tony and Lyndon and how this whole thing with Morgan is going to pop off? What do you think about Andre coming back and his expectation for Mercedes to be holding him down as she's still going through this show? What are y'all thoughts? What are your thoughts? Get down in the comments. Let me know. And as always, I'm always going to welcome you to subscribe to this growing channel. Okay? And